And also, most proudly, welcome to the New York City headquarters of Spotify, the world's hottest online music streaming service. And I hope you all liked the Spotify music playlist that was on before I started speaking. Raise your hand if you did. Good, great, because I approved it. And if you didn't raise your hand, don't bother during the Q&A for those reporters that wanted a question. If you do like it, you're in luck because it is saved on the NYC Mayor's Office Spotify profile. So you can get that, and I assume all you're going to do that. Now, New York City is the engineering hub of Spotify's U.S. operations. The company has had a presence here since 2010, when the New York office consisted of just one guy, Chief Content Officer Ken Parks, with us today. Ken? He was, well, that shirt was white when he started, but it's turned pink now. He may have been lonely, but at least he had plenty of music to listen to. And today there are roughly 75 Spotify engineers in New York working on the company's various platforms, and another 75 or so employees working in sales and other areas. The company, as everybody knows, is a huge hit with more than 24 million users in 28 countries and 1 billion playlists created, and is still growing rapidly. It is a global tech company, and only one like this could expand. It really could expand in any city where there is the right engineering talent. But the right engineering talent is here in New York. More and more that's going to be true. Today I'm happy to announce that Spotify will expand here in New York City. Specifically, they add about 130 engineers and tech jobs to the New York operations by the end of 2014, and that will increase their engineering and tech team here to about 200 employees. And as part of this expansion, they're consolidating their presence in New York City, their largest office outside of Stockholm, with a new Chelsea headquarters, which they will move into later this year. So congratulations on the move. If you need some help, I'd be happy to come down and help carry some furniture or something like that. Spotify's decision to increase here is a perfect example of why we're working so hard to increase New York's pool of engineering talent and make New York City the first choice for tech companies to launch and grow. I have said this 1,000 times, but I do not think that my company would have been remotely as successful as it is today if we had started it anyplace else. New York City is the place where you have the talent, not just tech talent. This is the intellectual capital of the country and arguably the world. And if you're going to have a great business and you need intellectual capital, this is where you got to be. You have the diversity so that when you want to make a product that you sell around the world, people are here from around the world. They just didn't read about the rest of the world. They know what they're talking about, and that is just so important. The new jobs Spotify is creating in New York City will be good-paying jobs that will create revenue for our city, keeping us the center of the innovations that are driving the 21st century economy and adding more momentum to our growing tech community. We want more companies creating these jobs here in New York, and we want New Yorkers to be able to compete for them. And so to help make the second part possible, the 3 new applied science campuses we're creating in our city will more than double the engineering faculty and students here. They'll also, we project, to spin off something like 1,000 new companies. And one of those schools, Cornell NYC Tech, has a temporary home right here in the Google building, while its permanent home gets built on Roosevelt Island. And we're also creating 2 Academy for Software Engineering high schools that will teach coding to young New Yorkers and prepare them for the jobs of the future, and also to create the jobs of the future. And we brought more computer science classes to public schools around the city. That's what's going to help these kids be able to compete in the global world and a more technological world. Now, as we work to help the tech community thrive, companies have stepped up to help our city as well, and I'm happy to say that Spotify and the Department of Education will co-host a hackathon tomorrow and Saturday to come up with new apps for teaching music. They'll bring together teachers and tech professionals in brainstorming sessions. Also last month, you may know, we announced the winners of our first Gap App Challenge, which called on the tech community to help us address the gap in math education in public schools. And the winners include an app that personalizes math learning. Another winning app uses real-world examples to help make math more tangible for young students, and another helps teachers manage and track students' work. And if you're interested, you can find out more about the prize winners by visiting the Department of Education's page at nyc.gov. Last week, we also announced the winners of our 4th annual Big Apps Contest, which makes troves of city data available to developers and invites them to create apps aimed at improving New Yorkers' quality of life. And all of these are reasons why New York's tech success means great things for all New Yorkers. And today gives us another reason to celebrate, and we look forward to seeing Spotify continue to grow here. So now let's hear from some members of the Spotify team, beginning with Ken Parks, Chief Content Officer. Ken, you want to share a few words about today's news?
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for visiting us at Spotify today. My name is Ken Parks. I'm the Chief Content Officer of Spotify based here in New York. When I took the keys to this office 3 years ago, I was our first person in the U.S. sitting alone in this big space in that office right behind the sign there. We were about 20 people when we launched in the U.S. a year later, and we're now over 200 in the New York office and more than 250 in the U.S. That growth has been an amazing thing to see, and one of the keys to that growth is the unique attributes of New York that make it a great place for companies like ours to locate. The decision for us to base our U.S. headquarters here was a pretty easy one. Spotify is a company that sits at the intersection of media and technology. New York has always been a magnet for the best people from all over the world, pursuing their aspirations in media and entertainment. Now, thanks to the effort of the mayor and others, New York has become one of the major global centers of the digital technology sector, and people are coming here to pursue careers at the very best companies in that area. The ability for us to hire top tech talent is absolutely crucial for us to continue to grow as a business and compete in the global marketplace. We want to thank the mayor again for all his hard work in making New York an attractive place for technology companies and talent, and I can't wait to follow the mayor's Spotify playlist.
Ken, thank you. Jeff Levick is the Chief Marketing and Revenue Officer at Spotify. Jeff?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ken. Thank you for the clap. I'm Jeff Levick. I'm the Chief Marketing and Revenue Officer at Spotify. I am also based in New York City and a proud resident of the city. Thank you for making it so clean. I'd like to quickly reiterate our appreciation to the Mayor's office and the Mayor's efforts to make New York City a premier technology city. In New York, we have various teams, which you can see on the other side of this wall here, including sales, marketing, artist and label relations, and more. But the biggest team is definitely our engineers. This is the group that's building the future of Spotify's platform, and they're doing it right here in New York City. The team is focused on several different initiatives to make our platform better, including initiatives related to social, radio, mobile, and music discovery, in addition to our web development efforts and also building our new advertising and monetization platform, which for us is very important because it's keeping free music free. So as we grow, we need more technologists who love complex challenges and want to work on projects that impact millions of users every single day around the world. So yes, Spotify is hiring and hiring here in the city. I'd like to add that without the influx of the engineering teams and talent to New York, we would not have been able to hold the Music Education Hackathon, which we'll hold later this week with the New York City Department of Education. The fact that we can get hundreds of engineers together to work on finding technical solutions to music education in New York City schools is amazing and something that we couldn't have even done months ago if it weren't for the help of the mayor. So thank you to the New York Department of Education for being a great partner on the hackathon. Thanks again, Mr. Mayor, for your support of companies like Spotify in New York City. And I want to make sure you can all reference to visit the hackathon and what's happening at www.musicedhack.com for more information. Thank you very much.
Jeff, thank you. Next up is Rachel Hout, the city's Chief Digital Officer. Rachel?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you so much, Spotify. I think Spotify's presence in New York City and plans to expand really speak volumes to the momentum and growth that we see every day in New York City's tech sector. And it makes sense that they're here. It's an international company with an international base of users, and we are arguably the most international city in the world, as the mayor was saying. In addition to that, New York City is a hub for culture and industry. On the culture side, you have the music lovers and the music creators who really are at the core of Spotify's product. as well as the audience that they enjoy. And I am one of those audience. I use Spotify every day. And in the industry side, you have the media companies and you have the digital publishers who are going to create the partnerships with Spotify's platform that will evolve the content experience centered on music. And finally, you, of course, have New York City's thriving tech sector, which is right here. And that sector is growing. Of that sector, we have almost 1,000 what we call made in New York tech companies. These are tech companies that are basing 75% or more of their development here in New York City. Companies like Tumblr and companies like MakerBot, which those two together over the past couple of months have announced acquisitions of almost $1.5 billion. And outside the tech sector, we're seeing tech jobs increase. Survey after survey is showing that there are more tech jobs that are open right now in New York City than anywhere else in the country. Whether it's Indeed.com, Dice.com, we're seeing it in Forbes and CNN. The jobs are here because as so many powerful industries in New York City modernize, we know that they're going to need the tech talent to grow and take it to the next level. So we're thrilled that that's happening, but we want to make sure that that momentum continues to grow. And this is one of the reasons why Mayor Bloomberg launched We Are Made in New York. The campaign really speaks for itself, but what it is a website and a resource and a marketing campaign that has our entrepreneurs as the ambassadors and leads back to a website at wearemadeinny.com that shows you everything you need to learn, launch, or find a job in tech. And finally, we're so happy to have Spotify as a partner to the City of New York, looking at things like the EdTech hackathon that's starting just tomorrow, bringing together music educators and Spotify and the Department of Education to reinvent the way that our New York City public school students learn. So thank you again, and we join Spotify in that call to action to encourage more engineers to come to New York City. Thanks.
Rachel, thank you. Kai Kimball is the Executive Director of the city's Economic Development Corporation. Kyle?
Thanks. I'm sure that I speak for, I know that I speak for myself, and I'm sure I speak for Rachel, that the days like today and the people across the wall and you being here are the reason that we are very excited about our jobs every day. We are tasked with fundamentally transforming the city's economy at the Economic Development Corporation. Technology has been at the centerpiece of that, pursuant to the mayor's vision of really a game changer for New York City's economy. And Spotify is the latest tech company that has chosen to expand in New York City and the realization of the vision that the mayor has had. So we are very excited. It's great to see the realization of that. And as the mayor mentioned, we are very focused on making sure that New York City remains a place as a tech hub by a couple of things. One is not thinking of technology sometimes as another vertical to the city's economy, but rather something that transcends the entire city economy. That's number one. Number two, as he mentioned, making sure that the jobs that we are creating in this economy, that there are people to meet them and that we can hire 130,000 engineers in the future as opposed to 130. But that's through the applied sciences campuses that we have led. That's through the public schools, as he mentioned, and as well as supporting the entrepreneurship and the innovation environment in the city and making sure that this is a place that people want to grow their companies and their families for the long term. So we're really excited to have you guys here. Thank you to the mayor, and Deputy Mayor Steele, and Rachel for their vision, and thank you to Jeff and to Ken for their leadership and buying into the city's vision. Thank you very much.
Kyle, thank you. Let me just summarize today's announcement for our Spanish-speaking audience. La empresa Spotify, que ofrece un servicio de música digital, va a incrementar el número de empleos en tecnología y ingeniería aquí en Nueva York en el próximo año y medio. Es un gran ejemplo de nuestros trabajos para apoyar y crecer esta industria en nuestra ciudad. Spotify también va a trabajar con el Departamento de Educación para crear un taller de tecnología y música para estudiantes. And with that, we will be happy to take some questions on topic.